Market conditions remaining bullish in this bull market after a couple of days of entering that zone back up here again. Let's take a look at some of the chart patterns we're seeing. The bullish rank here sitting at 20.99. So it's actually kind of flattening and even attempting just a little flattening, maybe even a little bit of an uptick right here. So kind of stabilizing in this overall uptrend. We'll see what this week brings for us. We're still at the upper end of that range. We certainly know that. Anything above 20, we're extended to the upside. I do think going forward that could potentially create some some shortening of this overall uptrend. It could always go higher, but flattening to a slight downtrend of this current trend is the one to be watching over this next week or two. Momentum moving solidly back up into the bullish trend zone. Also, breadth not quite there yet, but improving. Sentiment also quite strong right here. The buy-sell ratio, which has ticked, what's it been doing here? 1.77. Yeah, the day before that, 1.84. So you can see we're bullish here towards the upside. Anytime we have a buy-sell ratio of 1, if it's greater than 1 down here, that means that green line is above red line, and that means that bulls are in control of the current trend. So we want to be aware of that. It's not extreme yet, but it's moving in that bullish direction. We do see sentiment, which is just rocketed straight off those oversold levels back up to 70. We'll see if we get, again, any kind of a pullback right here, retracement in that upper buy zone. If we take a look at S&P 500, we're looking at that pattern right here, confirmation bar, or at least a new signal entering into that buy zone here, momentum rank at 100, and approaching some resistance right here. So we'll see if we can get a breakout on S&P 500. We can get a good day or two solid move higher. That could be really some nice continuation momentum for the markets. Let's just glance here. You can see we've got bonds have been improving slightly, nothing too spectacular. We've talked about this pattern now for quite a while. We will probably continue to be talking about bonds right here because we are finding some support. This pattern, this retracement pattern, this is still the trend. This is that 1-year time frame, but we've rallied up, we've retraced. So as the market, the stock market, really since January has been doing nothing. This is a big part of the reason right here is bonds have been retracing, which means interest rates have been moving higher. So if we can get bonds to pop and move higher, bring interest rates back down, that may allow the market a little bit different perspective right here going forward. But as of right now, nothing quite yet. But we are seeing markets continuing to strengthen into this overall trend right here. This is this chart of the Dow. It's a good solid move. Again, approaching some resistance. So we'll see what happens at this resistance, both on the Dow, really across the board. NASDAQ, Dow, S&P 500. If we take a look at sectors, currently we're seeing sectors also strengthening, a lot more stocks back into those uptrends, and entering buy signals, a handful still sitting at hold. So continued strength in really across the board on sectors as well. Commodities, we're seeing gold strengthen. So gold pop back up into that upper uptrend again inside the momentum zone. On that 6-month time frame, we're also seeing USO, which is oil, continuing to weaken. So that oil trend continuing to weaken to the downside, gold moving to the upside, bonds pausing with a slight uptrend, and equities finding some strength right here. That's kind of our current market conditions at this point. Some muscle stocks to consider. We're seeing aerospace, defense, not a real solid confirmation bar. It's been in these upper zones, but it's working its way back up into that area. SPIR, ORN, nice solid move, back up into that momentum zone, almost kind of a fading tail bar here. We had some really nice volume on this move as well. So we're seeing strong stocks, high-ranking stocks starting to move back into that uptrend, and they're starting to populate with that new buy signal here. And we saw Groupon. We're also seeing some of these stocks that are retracing off the bottom. So it's not up in that upper momentum zone, but if you go out a couple of time frames, go out to the 1-year chart, go out to that 2-year, see if it adds any additional context to those patterns, to those trends for you. In this case, it's a bounce off of a new location, off the support area, just not quite in that upper momentum zone yet, but still could be a possibility depending on your overall strategy for just a new buy signal. GRPN, interesting one there as well. NVIDIA also has kind of been going back and forth. It's showing up in that new buy signal because the day before was a hold. Now it's a buy again. So sometimes you'll see that stock's coming and going. And in this case, this is what we want to see is we want to see a stock that has now entered back up into this buy zone to kind of stay there and then create some support. Now it's finding some support off of this area. We'll see if we can get some acceleration back to the upside. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.